My dear brothers and sisters in the risen Lord, ordinary time, second week, Monday. Fasting is medicine, said by St. John Chrysostom. There was a man who was watching the transformation of a worm into a butterfly. Slowly, the cocoon opened and a small fly was struggling to emerge out. After watching for some time, the man, taking pity on the fly, which was struggling to come out from the cocoon, took scissors and cut open the cocoon and let the fly come out. The fly was freed, but its body was swollen and its wings were shriveled, and they were powerless to carry the weight of the body. The man, in his misplaced compassion, had indeed done a disservice to the fly by cutting open the cocoon and letting it fly out prematurely. He had stunned the natural growth of the fly. God, in his infinite wisdom, had ordained that by the struggling of the fly in the cocoon, the fly pushes the fluids in his body into wings, thus strengthening and enabling the wings to carry the weight of his body. Herein, the man had launched the fly into the world without being fully equipped for his life in the world, and as a result, it remained maimed all his life. In today's gospel, when some people blamed Jesus' disciple for not fasting, unlike the disciple of John and the Pharisees, Jesus defended his disciples. Today, let us dwell upon three truths. First truth: the disciples were still untrained for the precepts of the gospel. When Jesus said, "No one puts new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is lost, and so are the skins," what Jesus meant was that the disciples were new and untrained for the strict precepts of the gospel. They had to be renewed by the Spirit, which will happen after the death and the resurrection of Jesus. Then they shall be renewed, and the new view of the gospel would be poured into them. Jesus was a very pragmatic person, for he knew very clearly the stricter precepts of the gospel enforced on the untrained and the unprepared disciple would break them down. For a heavy burden laying on the one who is untrained often dashed that good which was in him before. Tough training is necessary for tough life. Jesus did not want to impose tough precepts on his disciples before they were properly prepared. 2. The time for suffering was not yet come. The time for suffering was not yet due. The bridegroom, Jesus, was still with them, and they Being the friends of the bridegroom, it was a time of rejoicing and celebration and not a time for mourning. The time would come when the bridegroom would be taken away, then they would patiently suffer for him. But now it was a time of celebration. Third, Jesus lovingly defended his disciples. The Pharisees, with the malice in their hearts toward Jesus, tried every way to attack and discredit Jesus. When they could not find sufficient ground to discredit him, they targeted his disciples. Jesus, who understood the disciples' unpreparedness, defended them with love. Those who give themselves to Jesus and surrender their lives to him shall be protected, guarded, and defended tooth and nail by him. The Lord through prophet Isaiah said, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burdened, and the flame shall not consume you." Isaiah 43, verse 1 to 2. May God bless you all. Amen.